Morning. I'm going to discuss about sender side stop and wait protocol, receiver side stop and wait protocol in this video. Stop and wait protocol is a flow control protocol where flow control is one of the services of the data link layer in the OSI model. Flow control is the management of data flow between computers or devices or between nodes in the network so that the data can be handled at an efficient manner. Too much of a data arriving before a device can handle it causes a data flow. So meaning the data is either lost or must be retransmitted. So the data is lost during the transmission. So once the data is lost, the receiver need to retransmit the packet at the receiver side. So stop and wait protocol, whatever the data that the sender wants to send, he send the data to the receiver. After sending the data, the sender stops and wait until the receiver sends the acknowledgement. So the sender sends the data and stops and wait until he receives the acknowledgement from the receiver. So stop and wait protocol follows the unidirectional data transmission. So unidirectional data transmissions, either the sender or receiver send the data at the same at a time. So the idea behind the usage of this frame is that when the sender sends the frame and he waits for the acknowledgement before sending the next frame. Primitives of stop and wait protocol. So sender side, so first rule is the sender send one data packet at a time. So the rule 2, the sender send the next data packet only when it receives the acknowledgement of the previous packet from the receiver. So stop and wait protocol on the sender side is very simple. The sender send one packet at a time and don't send the another packet before receiving the acknowledgement. At the receiver side, we have two rules. The first rule, the receive and then consume the data packet. So at the receiver side, the data received and consumed the data packet sent from the sender. And rule 2, when the data packet is consumed, the receiver send the acknowledgement to the sender. Therefore, the idea of stop and wait protocol for the at the receiver side also is a very simple. The consume the data packet sent from the sender, and once the packet is consumed, the acknowledgement sent to the sender. This is known as the flow control mechanism. Stop and wait protocol. So the once the sender send the data to the receiver, the sender send the data packet send the packet as the data packet. The sender will not send the second packet without receiving the acknowledgement of the first packet. So the receiver sends the acknowledgement for the data packet that it has received. So the once the acknowledgement received from the receiver, the sender send the next packet. This process is continuous until all the packets are not sent. The main advantage of this protocol is its simplicity, but it has some disadvantages too. So for example, if there are 1,000 data packets to be sent from the sender to the receiver, then all the 1,000 packets cannot be sent at the same time. So as in the stop and wait protocol, one packet at the time only the sender able to send it to the receiver. So, stop and wait protocol, the first main disadvantages of stop and wait protocol is the problem occurs due to lost data. Suppose the sender send the data and data is lost during the transmission. That is, in between the transmissions, the sender send data is lost. So at the receiving side, the receiver is waiting for the data for the long time. So since the data is not received by the receiver, so it doesn't send any acknowledgement. So since the sender doesn't receive any acknowledgement, so it will not send the next packet. This problem occurs due to the lost data. Thus, the sender wait for infinite amount of time for an acknowledgement from the sender, and receiver also wait for the infinite amount of time for the data. So in between the transmissions, data is lost. So both the sender and receiver, so waiting for their chance for the infinite number of times the data lost during the transmission. Next disadvantage is problems occur due to the loss of acknowledgement. So suppose the sender send the data and it also been received by the receiver. So at the receiver side, receiver send the acknowledgement to the sender. So the receiver also send the acknowledgement to the sender, but during the transmission, the acknowledgement sent from the receiver is lost. So at the time, the acknowledgement lost in the network. So no, there is no chance for the sender to receive the acknowledgement. So there is also no chance for the sender to send the next packet as in the stop and wait protocol, because once the acknowledgement received from the receiver, only the sender can able to send the next packet. So next packet cannot be sent to until the acknowledgement of the previous packet is received. So sender waits for the infinite amount of time for the acknowledgement. So the acknowledgements last between the transmission. So the sender waits for the infinite amount of time for the acknowledgement. So waiting for the acknowledgement from the receiver. So the next one is disadvantages problem due to the delayed data or acknowledgement. So in delayed data, the suppose sender send the data and it also been received by the receiver. The receiver then send the acknowledgement, but the acknowledgement is received after the timeout period on the sender side. So as the acknowledgement is received late, and acknowledgement can be wrongly considered as the acknowledgement of the some other packet.